Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Crystal Holloman, a digital reporter here at News 10, and we're going to take you to Mount Clemens, just outside of Detroit, where the family of Alexandria Verner is speaking after the school, Michigan State University, the school where the shooting happened, where Alexandria was killed along with two other classmates, has announced a settlement with the families of those three victims. So we're going to take a look at what the families' attorneys are saying right
Leadership throughout this year. Her stewardship has been instrumental in laying the foundation during challenging times and guiding our university with resilience and vision. As Trustee Byron mentioned, we had the pleasure to attend the 1855 cohort reception hosted by the provost. It was an honor to recognize the seven 1855 professorship recipients, and I'm looking forward to hearing from them further. I did kind of put Dr. Doug Gage on the spot and asked whether or not, and Thomas Yaitsko, whether they could actually come to one of our board meetings in person to talk to us about the great research that they're doing, because all of them are such interesting projects. And so I do hope that in the coming year we get to hear from each of them at some point. I'm also excited to witness the fall 2023 commencement today and tomorrow as our MSU graduates embark on a new chapter. And last week, I was honored to congratulate our new graduates at the Black Grad Celebration event. This event was significant because it recognized the achievements of our Black Spartans, and it fostered a sense of community and celebrated individual successes in completing undergraduate, graduate, and doctoral law degrees. Congratulations to all of our graduates. We are so proud of you. Their future history makers. Another memorable occasion for me was having the opportunity to be at the unveiling of the Dolores Wharton portrait at Cowles House in early November and sharing and hearing about the legacy Mrs. Wharton has created at this university and beyond. I am elated that I had an opportunity to speak and to meet her son. That was a wonderful occasion, and I think that everyone that was there felt the same. Lastly, this year we have visited many areas on our campus, and recently, Trustee Tebay and I had the opportunity to take a tour of the MSU College of Agriculture and Natural Resources. On this tour, we explored the greenhouses, the School of Packaging, and the dairy farm, where I had the unique opportunity to feed calves. And mine got done with their bottles first. I was a good bottle feeder. Anyway, tours like this offer important insights into MSU's diverse areas of study and research and highlight the depth of MSU's commitment to agriculture and natural sciences. I thank all of those who spoke on my behalf as well today. I don't expect and did not expect people to put themselves out. I know everybody's working and have other things to do, especially on Fridays, but the outpouring of support today meant a lot to me. And I'd also like to thank those that did not come on today, but that have reached out to me with cards, flowers, with phone calls, with emails all across campus.
And our goal is to do this every year. We're going to super fund her scholarship to make sure that anyone who comes out of the city of Clawson, if they apply and they're rewarded, they're going to get the scholarship fund from the AV 24 committee. That's our goal, and that's what we're going to continue to make happen.
The family has also taken every effort that has been given to them to attend every meeting possible that MSU has generated for the purposes of promoting and improving safety on campus for current and future students. They have also written endless amounts of emails, etc., for suggestions and encouragement to MSU to institute the change that's necessary to keep current and future students safe on campus.
Dad, could you just talk about your daughter and in relation to the memorial that was held earlier this year that was impressive? I mean, the whole town turned out on the football field. Can you talk about her and about the support the community has given to you and your family and what all of this means to you and your family today?
So I touched on it a little bit earlier. Clawson was amazing, and you talked about the memorials that took place in February. I don't know how any of us, the four of us, are here without the support of Clawson. My daughter and my daughters and my son are amazing kids. Nancy and I have been blessed that we've got such a tight-knit community and a wonderful family. Clawson helped us heal. The saying in Clawson is awesome. If you're not from Clawson, you don't understand it. Everybody knows everybody. Everyone knows your business. Everyone knows what's going on. And when we were at our lowest point, they picked us up and took care of us. And Nancy and I, TJ and Charlotte were indebted to them because they were so gracious to us. And when they raised all that money in February, that's why we started the funds. We didn't take a penny of it. We said this is going to go back to a Clawson kid that wants to continue their education. And that's what we did with it.
What is your reaction to MSU settling with the family and what the university is going to do to help you and your family going forward?
I would say my reaction to MSU is, David touched on it. Nancy and I are on several committees right now, and it's repurposing of Berkey Hall. It is the continuing of the security and making the security measurement at MSU to be better. Obviously, there were some issues that occurred when on February 13th that we're dedicated to make sure that there's changes. One of the things that Nancy and I are going to continue to do is make sure that anyone who commits a crime with a gun is held accountable. That is the biggest thing that we need to focus on. So we're going to continue to do these things to make, one, MSU safer for kids that go there, staff and students, and then also try to help with some of the gun reform.
To that end, with the focus on gun reform, not taking guns away from people, but if you are charged with a gun crime,
Correct.
it is the goal of Ted, and he has spoken to prosecutors throughout the state of Michigan to make that person plead guilty to a gun crime such that they can never have a gun again. And that is important because that is what happened in this case.
Yep.
And if the gun would never have been given back to the individual, then this never would have happened. So one of our goals for Ted is to institute change in that regard.
Yes.
When you talk about change, you've gone to great lengths to not blame MSU in your release and today. I'm curious twofold. It sounds like what you're talking about is gun reform and maybe getting politically active in Lansing with lawmakers versus something about Michigan State. Is there anything in regard to the university as far as what occurred, safety processes, et cetera, that you would like to see changed having looked back on this? You don't fault them, quote unquote, yes?
No, I'm not going to say yes or no to that. I'm going to say that we are continuing with MSU and to make sure that as we move forward, that things that may have not worked well on February 13th are going to work better. There's a lot of things with the audio. There's a lot of things with the messaging, security in the buildings. There's things that can be done better. And then we're working with MSU to make that. So again, if someone wants to go to MSU, and we had the biggest struggles, and it's not just MSU, it's a lot of other schools. It happened to be MSU's where our daughter lost her life. And so we're just trying to make that safer for kids when they go and staff that are working there.
How much of this, and I don't mean to be insensitive in asking it this way, but how much of this is wrong place, wrong time, could happen anywhere in our society today, versus constructive changes you hope could prevent something like this at MSU and elsewhere?
Well, I would say both. I agree with Nancy. Wrong place, wrong time. The person that took my daughter's life should have never been on the street. So that if you remove that element, my daughter's walking and I'm not in front of any of you right now. So that's why, again, holding people accountable that commit a crime in Michigan with a gun is what needs to be done. Are there things that could have been done differently? Could doors be locked? Could security measures be different? Sure, we can do it in every building here in the United States. Our goal is to make it safer as we move forward, make an impact.
Did you want to discuss where your daughter was at the time? I could look this up, but I want to hear from the family specifically about what she was doing and where she was.
She was attending a class in Berkey Hall.
Okay.
I'll even say that one of the committees we are on with MSU for our healing process, TJ, Charlotte, and Nancy, we're very visual people, and they were very gracious. Dave and Natalie on our committee met us on a Saturday and got us into Berkey Hall and showed us and walked us through exactly what happened through the process, and helped us understand much better what happened and the circumstances that surround it, and how the small window that happened that took our daughter's life, their sister's life. So they have been very gracious on that, and then also we're working on the repurpose of Berkey Hall and how it's going to be used. We just literally had a meeting yesterday about that.
Every request that we made to Brian Quinn, General Counsel for Michigan State, was granted. Every request for access, every request for information, every request for documents, every request we asked for was granted by Brian as quickly as he possibly could to gain Ted and Nancy and Charlotte and TJ the access to the information that they need to find out what happened to their daughter, why it happened, and how it can be prevented into the future.
How will they repurpose Berkey Hall, have they told you?
It's very early on and really not committed to say at this point. It's maybe a little much early. I defer to MSU on that. I will say they're very gracious in allowing us to be part of the process because they're sensitive to the fact that our daughter and the Davis's daughter was taken, their life was taken there. So they're being very gracious and understanding that having us involved in the process.
How do you want your daughter remembered? What do you want us to know about her and how she should be remembered?
I think everything you've said, everything you've seen, read, and heard about my daughter Alex, my daughter Charlotte, and my son TJ they're good people. Alex was a wonderful person. She was a leader. She would absolutely fight for somebody if they were being bullied. She was tough on the basketball court, Charlotte. Overall, a very funny, sensitive human being, and horribly sad that she's not here with us today. I would take her back in a minute than to sit here in front of any of you.
How satisfied are you with the security measures that MSU has implemented since?
I think it's early on in the process, so I really can't speak on that.
And Ted, you talked about the support from the Clawson community. I know following this incident, there was a statewide kind of rising up of advocacy groups and people who were also deeply touched by the situation. Could you tell me a little bit about that experience of seeing the Michigan community as a whole, MSU community, also rise up to try to keep her memory alive?
Yeah, I speak about Clawson obviously because it's so near and dear to us. There's been quite a bit that has gone on through other areas and other medias, other outlets, and other avenues, and we've been a part of some of it. Our focus has really been more on Clawson because it's so close to us. But we're very grateful. The MSU Strong raised X amount of dollars, and we were on that committee to how that money was going to be developed and used and deployed. So there's I'm sorry. Yeah, please.
Some of the things I believe that you're looking at is some of the support that we've received, and we have received not only statewide support but national support. We've received comfort blankets. We've received different gifts for planting of trees. People reaching out with cards and rosaries, just trying to help us heal, whether they've gone through a similar incident. But a lot of people around, not only Clawson, not only Michigan, but statewide, have reached out to us, and it's been very helpful and very healing.
Overwhelming.
Overwhelming.
Actually, very overwhelming. We're a very private family, and this is not what we're used to doing. And to be in that spotlight at that time and to receive such warmth and support and love was amazing.
Given that lean to privacy, do you plan on, as a family, becoming more vocal for what I would call what people refer to as common sense gun reform initiatives, etc.?
Yes.
I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but can you share more about what you want to try and channel your energy to in that regard?
I can let you know my goal is to, whether it's with prosecutors, whether it is with the Attorney General, whether it is I get more involved in politics, if you commit a crime in Michigan with a gun, you need to be held accountable. That's my goal. It's very simple. Guns don't kill people. It's people that pull the trigger on guns that kill people. And if you commit a crime with a gun, you should be held accountable. No more of this plea bargaining down. That's why my daughter is not on this earth anymore. And that's one of our main focuses.
Can you talk, is this the first case that has been settled involving MSU, and can you talk about the fact that it's gotten settled so quickly and others have not?
Sure, I can only tell you about what we have done with MSU. As far as what the other family's done is none of our business.
Is there when you talk about $5 million, is there a dedication of that into scholarship funds? Are you delineating how that's gonna go?
Alex's life is priceless, and the family at this time is just trying to heal and trying to figure out how they can move forward through this set of holidays, through the 1-year anniversary, through it all. And so at this point in time, there's no earmarks for anything at this point in time.
Forgive the insensitive question, but so has the family received the settlement already, or is there a date when they're expecting?
The settlement was only announced this morning through the Board of Trustees meeting, so it was only announced this morning.
Okay, so you don't, when would they get, I guess, the funds themselves?
That's undetermined at this time.
As the anniversary nears and MSU has said classes will be, there will be no classes during that time. Students and organizations may have recognized the anniversary, things of that nature. Will you all be more open about your daughter and some of the details that we already don't know about some of the activities she was involved in or anything like that as time goes on?
I mean,
Most of it came during the actual week of her, when she was killed. Pretty much everything that's out there was her. Her activities, her loyalty to friends, her commitment to her family members and to her grandmother, and pretty much a lot of that is already out there.
It's so much of the comments from the athletic director and the superintendent and the school teachers, all the comments that they made were so poignant and accurate about Alex and her, how she lived her life as an example for others.
And we, about the anniversary coming up, it's, we're, another committee that Nancy and I are on with MSU, and they're keeping us abreast of what their plans are and what our involvement will be or not involvement will be, and we haven't made that decision yet.
Would there be some type of anniversary memorial in Clawson?
I'm not aware of anything at this point in time, nor would I expect anything. Clawson has been incredibly generous from us, and as a family, we don't even know what we're doing on that day yet. So whether we're in Clawson, whether we're in East Lansing, or whether we're in Port Austin, we're not sure what we're going to do on that day.
Are the siblings going to state?
No, I'm very proud to say my daughter, Charlotte, she's at U of M Ann Arbor. She's also in the Ross Business School. My son, TJ, played football at Siena Heights. He just finished up and graduated, and he's working on his master's, and he'll finish that up in April. So we were truly a house divided. We had Michigan State and Michigan at the same time, and then Siena Heights.
Great. If there are no other questions? All right. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Yes, appreciate it.
All right. We can go back to the conference room.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. If you need an